Do certifications matter as a mechanic? Your life is in their hands. You go 80 miles an hour down the expressway and your wheel falls off or your brakes fall off or something crazy out of the ordinary happens. Probably not going to have a very fun day. So, do they matter as an automotive mechanic? Well, first let's talk about the types of certifications. There is ASE certifications, which are nationally accredited. They are widely known as like the tippity top, the best mechanic certifications. If you want to be regarded as a certified mechanic, that's where you want to go. You want to get ASE certified. They're the best. However, if you live in the state of Michigan, you also have to be certified in whatever area you plan on working in. So like for myself, I work on everything. So I'm certified in everything but transmissions. I guess I don't really work on transmission, but I'm certified all the way up to transmission so that I can work on brakes. I can work on front end suspension. I can work on electrical, heating and cooling, engine repair, engine performance. You know, I have the ability, the legality to work on that because in the state of Michigan, you have to be certified in the area in which you are doing work, or you have to be working under a training permit, and somebody that is certified in that area has to look over your work. So how does that work if you live in Michigan and you're ASE certified? Do they count? Not technically. So what you would have to do then is send your ASE certification to the Secretary of State, and they'll pretty much send you the state certification for it because, I mean, ASEs are much, much harder than the state certifications, and they're like widely known, widely accredited, nationally accredited. So if you have that certification, you have the proof of it, and you take that to the Secretary of State. I'm not exactly sure how you do it. You're technically illegally working on cars. So with that being said, yes, certifications, in my opinion, are very important. But there's three different types of being certified, and I think that that is what it comes down to and where the really important, or the actual importance lies. So let's get into the three types. Certs as you learn. You get certified as you learn. Like, let's say I feel comfortable in doing brakes. Like at this point, I'm working under a trainer's permit, but now I feel comfortable doing brakes. I feel comfortable doing alignments, front end suspension. Or, you know, I've been working on cars my whole life. I know how to do brakes. I know how to do front end suspension. Go take the test. Go get certified in it because that's what you know how to do. And then that's an accurate representation of your experience. Or you can say, man, like, this is, I'm experienced in what I'm certified in. And there's, you know, different levels of technician. You have a D-Tech, which is like your apprentice. They just came into the field. They're not like, they're past a lube tech, but they're not a mechanic yet, and by any means. And then you have a C-Tech. They can do most stuff on their own. They need help on the complex jobs. They need help with like intermediate diagnostics. You have a B-Tech, which can do 95% of repairs and diagnostics on their own. However, they're missing the ability to teach it to somebody else, as well as like the polished experience of doing it over and over and over again and getting that repetition and that learning. And that, I would say, is like the main difference between an A and a B Tech. But I got certified as I learned. So I had 3 certs up until last year. I was certified in brakes, front end, and electrical so that I could just kind of work on even basic stuff you have to be certified in. So I could pretty much work on everything that I was working on. And then I went and got my engine performance in my heating and air conditioning one, because at that point I was trying to get into like engine repair. You know, I wanted to do heavy jobs. So then I got those ones. Then I had to also get engine repair, because in order to replace a catalytic converter legally, you have to be certified in engine repair, which is just funny to me. But beside the point, that is what I did. It's harder than one of the other ways I'm going to explain, just because like real world information is different than what's on the test. It's just like all the test stuff is technically correct, but the real world stuff is what it takes to make that stuff correct, I guess, if that makes sense. And then also, you know, there's a potential for more money. Like, let's say you come in, you have 5 out of 8 certifications for master. Well, you get those other three, they're generally like $1 or 50-cent raise per certification. And let's say you come in at $20 or $30, now you bumped yourself up to 32 or 22 or whatever that is. So you kind of just always are thinking about that to move yourself forward at the best time. It kind of all comes down to timing. The other type, just not certified at all. They don't want to get certified, or they're not good at taking tests, or they don't want to put the time in to learn the information that's on the test. Whatever that case may be, they're just not certified. So what does that look like for them? Well, probably low pay, limited like desirability, because most shops, at least in Michigan, they require you to be certified. They're not going to work illegally, because then they're putting their repair facility license on the line. I've seen some guys skirt it and just put everybody under training permits, but I mean, I've left those shops quicker than I got into them, because they're just, if you're willing to do that, I don't want to work for you. You're working on customers' cars. You got people's lives in your hands. So anyway, illegal in Michigan, you got limited options and low pay. Get certified. If you want to be a mechanic, take the time, especially in Michigan. Take the time, go get at least the state certs so you can say, yeah, I can legally work on everything. And they do take a little bit of studying. They do take a little bit of time, but you can take them every single day. So take it 10 times, 10 days in a row. If you fail it, I mean, you're going to have all that knowledge fresh in your brain. You're probably going to get it one of those times. So then the last type of a certified mechanic, I would say, is the fresh out of tech school. So most mechanics make fun of this guy because they are a master mechanic fresh out of a 2-year technical school. And most of the time, the reason for that is like their schedule is so much more open to be able to take the tests. Like ASE tests, you have to go to a special building, or I think sometimes they bring the test to the colleges, but you got to go to a special building, sit for like 3 hours and take the test. And most guys, I'd rather work and go make money than spend $200 to take a test. But when you're in college, you're paying for the accessibility and the ability to take those tests, so they're given to you. You know what I mean? And like that makes it a world easier to be able to take them over and over again, or be able to retake them or try. Or like I haven't even taken a single ASE test yet, because I haven't made the time to go out to the building and spend 3 hours and take a day off of work. But it's like I don't know, if I would have went to tech school, it would have been nice, because I would have had them certifications already. I wouldn't have to fight for them, and now I could just recertify. But I would have came in with like the book smarts, but no real world. So I would have been, I still had to start at a tire tech, lube tech, and learn everything that I've had to learn hands on, but with knowing the other knowledge and with already being technically considered a master mechanic. And that's a really tough spot to be in, because I mean, most of them get prideful and think, well, no, I'm a master mechanic. I went through tech school. I know what I'm talking about. I know this, I know that. And I've seen that a lot, and those guys typically don't last. Or they're like, hey man, I went to tech school. I want to be a mechanic, but I got to get to that point. I just went to tech school so that I could be certified and, to further myself later in my career. That's awesome. Those types of guys, they make it really, really far in this career. And don't think I'm pooping on tech school, because I'm not. I've considered it myself. I've considered going back to associate's program for my welding mechanics, and I think I'm still going to. So I'm not pooping on that at all. I just think that the hands-on experience, the real world experience, the 20,000-30,000 you got to spend on tools to get into the field, I think that you should do that before you go to school, because really that's going to be what tells you if you like it or not. Like, after 3-4 years of doing this, your body's going to hurt every day. Your hands are going to hurt every day. They're going to cramp up every day. It's going to beat your body up in a different way. So you have to be prepared for that, and to see if you like it. If you have the ability to go to college, but you think, hey man, I want to be a mechanic, but I want to get my technical school degree. Well, go be a lube tech, go be a tire tech for a year, see if you like it, because you're going to have to do it either way. Get that experience, get them base of tools, and then you come in having this much experience to school that you can place to school and learn the things that you actually need to learn, because you would understand. So I think that is a very good way to do that. But I got off on a tangent. The other part of being fresh out of tech school certified, like master certified, is like the information that's on the tests is what they're learning. So like that's their curriculum. The curriculum is teach them to pass these tests, not teach them to be a successful mechanic. And while they do still do some hands-on work or a lot of real work. A lot of it is like the book smarts, like Ohm's law, or learning the different things that most mechanics might not know directly by heart, but they can do it with their hands and test it in the field, like with an ohm meter or something like that, but they may not know the equation. So it's the balance of opposites, I think, that you have to find as a mechanic, but you also have to be intelligent. You got to be able to do both, and you got to be hardworking. So do certifications matter as an auto mechanic? 100%, and don't let anybody ever tell you they don't. They matter to further your career. They matter to make you, like, I'm proud to be a certified mechanic. I take a lot of pride in that, and like every vehicle that I work on, my certification number goes on. So if I mess something up, that comes back on me. So I take a lot of pride in the vehicles I put out. I won't put out anything that I'm not comfortable with, regardless of what position that puts me in and whatever shop I'm at. So yes, they matter. Get your certifications, get certified, increase your value, increase your worth. And yeah, tech school is great, but I don't think it's great to go to tech school, come into the field, and assume that you're going to be a mechanic, because you're not. You're still going to have to go through an apprenticeship. You're still going to have to learn everything that the guy who didn't go to tech school was learning the whole time, but you're master certified, so you don't have to go back and do everything that I would have to do now and go take them certifications. So it's just kind of understanding where you are, understanding what path and where your future leads you. But yeah, leave it in the comments. You guys have any questions, or if you guys think I'm just dumb, let me know. Thanks.